You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of laughter, but of cultural context and awareness. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of cultural material. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Parody Zone. What is parody, you ask? Well, for all you know, dear readers, you may just be looking at one. For parody, you see, can come in all forms, in all shapes, and in all sizes. But at its core, in its most primal and non-specific, a man by the name of Simon Dentith defined it as any cultural practice which provides a relatively polemic, elusive imitation of another cultural production or practice. What does that mean, you ask? Well, for one, dear readers, according to scholar Wes Gehring, one needs to know an unnecessarily detailed collection of facts before even understanding the parody. So how about a little context? Ah yes, the 1990 classic film Goodfellas, a modern-day standard of gangster film excellence. And of course, you all remember that unforgettable line that sets young Henry down his path of crime, drugs, and corruption.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
We're the ones with the chicken.
It's like a mafia movie. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be in a mafia movie.
Cool.
And that, dear readers, is parody. At least the beginnings of one. But it goes beyond a reference to one line. What NBC's series Community does here is make a grand allusion to Goodfellas and other crime film classics for an entire episode by inserting their own characters, ones that devotees of the show know and love, into the context of imitating an already well-established piece of culture. This process of parody can be great for humor because of the incongruity of it all. Characters we are not used to seeing in organized crime are suddenly there, employing the tropes from these gangster movies into a familiar setting. But don't get too comfortable, dear readers, because there are more ways to do it than just this one, even going back to the earliest forms of American culture itself. Come and see.
Parody doesn't always need to be on screen. It can be as simple as words on a page.
Books? Books are worthless.
Books are important. Without books, there wouldn't be movies or television. Written word is the transcription of speech, and speech is where parody begins. At its core, parody is the imitation and twisting of language. When we repeat a word, phrase, or entire work using different intonation or context, the result is parody. This practice goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks, but let's zoom in a little later. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toes did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgrabe. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jubjub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. The Jabberwock, by Lewis Carroll, despite being nearly half utter nonsense, is a general parody of an epic poem, made funny and famous by the words Carroll invents to tell the story. See, words can be fun.
Yeah, when they're made up.
Parody can make fun of an entire genre, or one work in particular. Today's popular fiction is a prime target for fun-loving parodies.
Harry Potter? I do like that particular novel.
You and the rest of America. Harry Potter has sparked literary, film, and yes, even musical parodies. And it all started with a book.
Parodies can also be found in the realm of music, and in many cases, the popular reaction to the original can augment the parody. At the time this song was popular, Nirvana had a reputation of having completely incomprehensible lyrics. The currently reigning king of song parody, Weird Al Yankovic, decided to poke fun at this tendency with new lyrics in his 1991 parody, Smells Like Nirvana.
What is this song all about? Can't figure any lyrics out. How do the words to it go? I wish you'd tell me, I don't know.
A particularly amusing technique used in parody can be found when you leave the artistic and narrative constructs of your parody completely, even if only for a moment, and engage in meta-humor. Meta-humor, which includes elements of satire, is a great way parody can directly address the original work. It takes you out of the context of the world of the parody, and takes a direct stab at the real-world existence of the original work.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
I'm Han Solo, captain of the Millennium Falcon, and the only actor whose career isn't destroyed by this movie.
So you've seen parody in the movies, you've seen parody on TV, and you've seen it in books, poetry, and music. But there are even more ways to employ parody. Like, what if parody was the entire basis for your identity? In addition to Colbert's parody of the form of a political talk show, Colbert himself has become a parody of the right-wing talk show host, a character he carries with him wherever he goes. And again, while the knowledge of the kind of person he is parodying is required, the parody goes beyond a simple television show, and Colbert's character blurs the line between the character he plays and who he actually is. The Colbert Report also blurs the line between satire and parody. While his content is a satire, poking fun at the news and the state of the world, his form is that of parody. Okay, now try out this clip. Did you understand why that was funny?
No, that was especially lame.
That was actually a parody. But you didn't know that, because the parodies on 1920s German expressionist mountain films, or did Berg films, like this one.
Well, I get it now, but it would have been funnier if I had just known what I should have been laughing at from the beginning. So whether you openly or directly make fun of an original piece of culture, parody is all around us. But whether it parodies a specific work or an entire genre, humor scholars like Wes Gehring agree that the fundamental goal of parody is to be funny. It's not, at its core, an instrument for social change. It is only supposed to be clever.
And people admire cleverness, especially when they understand why it's clever. When you understand why a particular parody is funny, it gives you a well-earned sense of satisfaction. Your cultural knowledge has not gone to waste. And when your favorite movie pops up in parody form, you feel like the joke is written specifically for you. So that's parody. An unnecessary amount of prior knowledge is required, but it gives you a beyond necessary amount of laughter.
We'll see you next time on the Parody Zone.